Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a nice Memorial Day weekend. I'm sure it wasn't quite as long as you needed, but it was one extra day. By now, I'm sure that you have become quite acquainted with sort of the format of these first three chapters in your dissertation. The idea here in these first couple of weeks is to just get you familiar with what the format is and what the different sections are actually requiring. Now, I'm fully aware that not all of you are going to have a whole lot to say in each one of these sections. Some of you will have a lot to say, and I will read it and I will comment on it. But I also want to make sure that everyone understands I am not your chair, nor do I necessarily even know enough about your project to advise you on how to conduct the project. Rather, what I'm here to do is to help you create some semblance of the first three chapters during the semester. As I explained to someone that I had a conference call with today, it's a story that's 3 chapters long. By mid-August, you will have some semblance of that story. Some of your stories will be quite detailed and actually ready to be read by an audience, i.e. your committee, to prepare for proposal defense. Others are going to have more of an outline of the story, but this is definitely the time to be spending on creating that story. So part of that is beginning to see if the very core aspects of the dissertation, which is the problem itself, the purpose of the research, and the research questions align. That is really a key aspect of any research project, but especially one like a dissertation. So as you look to chapter 3, you're probably getting a little nervous about what goes into chapter 3, because it is in many ways the most complicated chapter, and it also will require a lot of input from your chair and committee members. But I just want to draw your attention to our good old friend Maxwell's construct for integrated research design. You've used this before in class, and I highly recommend that you create this construct as part of your dissertation. It's a great construct to put in the first chapter to show that these items are aligned. Your research question is aligned with your conceptual framework, your goals, your methods, and the validity and or trustworthiness of the study. So very much now in this part of the course, we're starting to pull things together. You have an assignment due on the 9th, which is next week, which is the outline of the first 3 chapters. Again, let me reiterate, if all you were able to do was go to the appendix of the handbook, the PhD handbook, and read Terrell, make some notes as to what goes into each one of those sections, even if you don't have it all worked out, that's okay. As the semester progresses, I'm going to be looking for increased material in those sections. For some of you who have worked closely or for a long time with a chair and or committee, this is going to be easier. For those who are not quite as far along, it's going to be a little more simplistic. But again, by the end of the summer, we hope to have something that looks like a story, even if it's a story made up of a lot of bullets or short expressions, etc. I know some of you are very much trying to do your proposal defense in the fall, which is great. Some of you might not make it in the early fall, but are targeting the late fall. But in this course, I need to know that you have given each one of these sections in the first 3 chapters some thought, some idea. What sort of research project am I doing? Is it mixed methods? Is it primarily qualitative? Is it primarily quantitative? If it is, what sort of tools am I using to collect data, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where in this week, it's a good time to start to understand how all these pieces are starting to fall together. The first couple weeks of the course are very sort of organizational, administrative, if you want to call it, sort of getting things put together so you have a working document. But now we're going to go into the chapters in Terrell that are chapters 5, 6, and 7. Shouldn't be a whole lot new there because you have, of course, finished your research cycle of courses. But what 5, 6, and 7 are going to do is help you understand how these aspects of the methods need to be organized and written up in the chapter 3. Okay, so maybe some of you already have decided with your chair that your study is going to be qualitative in nature. Great, fine. Terrell is going to show you how to organize that so it's appropriate for your dissertation. So in the next week, I'll be looking for that assignment, your first assignment, which is sort of like your organized chapter 1, 2, and 3, with as much or as little as you think you can provide in detail at this time. And I will comment on all of them. Let's see. Oh, here we go. And by the way, you'll have a couple weeks in the next couple weeks leading up to our quote unquote virtual residency on Friday the 23rd to prepare for this. But you'll see that in a second, I'll show you the next session where you can sign up for when you want to meet with me. It's an opportunity for you and your writing partner to have about an hour to talk about where you are, what your struggles are, what you think you might need to do next, what will be the nice segue from your first assignment 1 that's due on the 9th, and the questions that you have as you move on to assignment 2A in the next section. So I've written some questions to help organize that time that we spend with each other on the 23rd. So it's choose 2 sections that are of particular concern in each of the chapters. Devise a 1 question for each section ready to be asked. After reading your partner's assignment 2A, so you're going to be swapping, what part of the chapters is most unclear to you? And there's a series of questions there. In other words, are you getting the story? Is the story becoming clear, or is it still not sure? And be prepared to challenge each other. It's not a debate, but be prepared to help each other and point out where they might need to be able to provide more detail. And questions about format and logic. Again, I know it seems odd that I would harp on this idea of formatting in papers, but this dissertation needs to be formatted in a way that is common to the way dissertations are published. So no time is better than the beginning to start to do that sort of work. As you'll see, class sessions on the 20, excuse me. Residency is the 18th, sorry about that. There are times to sign up, just email me and I'll put you in there. As you can see, Melanie and Alex have chosen to come on at 12 noon. And just email me your dyad, the 2 of you, and when you'd like to meet, and we will have an hour almost to talk about your particular proposals, the 2 of them. Also, the night before, on the 17th, we're going to spend a little time talking about what it means to start moving into a writing routine, overcoming writer's block, and the role of revision as you start to write and revise. This is an opportunity to take a different sort of approach to what you're moving into. You're not only moving into the research portion of your academic development, but you're also shifting in the way that you organize your time and how you deal with certain problems. This course is probably a good example of how the structure of coursework sort of flakes away a little bit. It'll even be more so in the fall. So you're entering into a time where your work and how you get it done is driven by you and not by a professor or a timeline as much. And this is often the time where people can get lost or distracted or just feel that they need a big exhale. And I have enough experience to tell you that that can really be problematic, because it can send you into a place that is very isolating, and a place that really leads you to not completing your dissertation work, because other things come up in life. You're not only successful professionals with other sorts of responsibilities, you're also parents, you're also caregivers possibly, and it's very easy for those things to get in the way. So we want to have sort of an open discussion, more like a mini retreat on that night, to talk about these sorts of factors. Truth be told, I used to save this discussion to the end of the semester, but I've been told by students in the past that it really would have been good to have this conversation more in the beginning of the semester, which is why we're having it on the 17th, the night of the 17th. Sorry, I had a date wrong. The residency is the 18th, and the night before residency is the 17th, where we'll have a Zoom call. Okay. Other than that, I hope you're making progress. This is a really good time to reach out to me if you feel you're sort of lost or overwhelmed and not able to sort of go these first couple steps. It's really important that you make these first steps, even if you're feeling unsure. I also want to hear from you if for some reason the relationship you have with your chair is not working, you're not able to get their attention, or you thought it was working and all of a sudden it's not working, or something has happened. Now is the time to reach out to me, and I can do what I can do to help you. And Dr. Mallinson and I can work together to make sure this doesn't become a problem for the rest of the summer. So please feel free to email me if you're having any challenges. Now is the time to tell me if you're just staring at a blank piece of paper and unable to move into this first step. This semester goes super fast, and we will be moving quite quickly after this next week to write and revise, so that by really the end of July, you have something in your hand that is going to be that story that you take with you past the end of the semester and into your dissertation credits. As always, I hope you're all having a great week and continue to make progress. I look forward to hearing from you, and good luck as you start to pull together this first assignment. Okay, thanks everyone. Have a good night. Bye-bye.